Right then. So now it's a Prophet build. Prophet consists of Dream and Storm masteries. This is a kind of class which is sort of diverse. You could go either a melee character, or you could probably go as a mage. But if you're going as a melee, which I think is probably a better option, you'll still do a fair bit of spellcasting because, you know, if you're picking Storm, why wouldn't you do spellcasting? So let's begin with the skills. I'm going to go from left to right here. So this is a Dream Mastery now. On the left hand side we've got the 3 different trances, and you can only pick one. Generally for survivability, Trance of Convalescence is the best. You could pick any of the other 2. It's always like depends on your playstyle. Trance of Wrath is good for weakening enemies, so their resistances are a bit lower, so then you can kill them easier. And Empathy is good for reflection builds usually, like so you reflect damage back. Just keep in mind though that when you do reflect the damage back, you still do take in all of the damage dealt to you. Alright? Next one is Lucid Dream Tree. Usually as any dream character you'd want to max out the whole tree. Some of the skills you max out earlier than others, but yeah, eventually all of it should be maxed out. Then we've got the Nightmare. I wouldn't say you should definitely get it, but I think for a Prophet, probably a good idea to have a Nightmare. Usually I put about 5 points in it. I mean, I rarely see a point in having to max it because it doesn't deal much of a damage. It's mostly good for distracting the enemies and also doing effects like Hypnotic Gaze, which confuses enemies. That's a good skill. You see a 1 point I put in it. The reason I put 5 points in the actual Nightmare is because at the 5th point it gets its area skill. You could obviously have, say, 4 points and then have item which gives +1 to all skills, and that'll get you 5. It's up to you, Sands of Sleep, I don't usually go for that much, but once again, if you need some way of disabling a handful of enemies, you could get it, but there are better skills for that, so I ignore Sands of Sleep. Psionic Touch, probably just 1 point is enough, because it doesn't hurt if it just triggers on once every 4th hit. It doesn't hurt. You're just maxing it, you probably will be a bit of a waste. Distortion Field, once again, not so much. You could put 1 point in it if you wish, but other than that, you don't really need the skill much. Phantom Strike, good skill. If you're going melee, definitely. If you're not going melee, then forget about it. So Phantom Strike is good for clearing out loads of enemies, and Distort Reality, that's good for petrifying a lot of enemies around you. So when you get swarmed, it's good. Distortion Wave is pretty good as well, but you probably won't have enough skill points to get Distortion Wave, so it is quite a skill point hungry tree. It's got loads of skill points it requires, so I'll probably ignore it for this build. Now let's move on to Storm Mastery. Now here, once again from left to right, on left hand side, Lightning Tree. Lightning Tree is a very high damage dealing tree, especially with Chain Lightning, so it's good for lightning damage. You need to invest points in intelligence for this, so lightning is good. Spellbreaker tree, it's a very specific kind of tree. It's only suitable to specific builds, so by default I wouldn't go for it. But if you're making a specific build with the energy drain characters, then you go for it, but otherwise forget about it. Ice Shot, this is another skill point hungry tree, so I ignored it here, although I would discuss a Prophet with the Ice Shot Prophet as well, but for now, just as a default Prophet, I wouldn't go for it, okay? Thunderball, it's a good skill. I usually put 2 points in it, 1 in the skill itself and 1 in its synergy, because it's quite good for stunning groups of enemies, but then again, you already have Distort Reality, and you have Phantom Strike as well. And Lightning Bolt sort of does a bit of stunning as well, so you've got quite a lot of stunning skills already. You don't really need much of a Thunderball. Wisp is a interesting pet. It's not sort of it doesn't deal much of damage or anything to enemies. It's quite weak, and it can't get killed by them so easily either. But in this instance, since in this instance, I'd probably say it's good to get the Wisp because, first of all, together with Nightmare, they could synergy between themselves. Like Nightmare has also Mastermind skill, which can make your other pets better. But Wisp also it increases your elemental damage, which you actually would need, I think. So you might want to get a Wisp. That's a good tree for weakening enemies, like a debuff. Weakens enemies, so pretty good thing to go for. Storm Nimbus. Yes, since you're gonna be, if you're going melee, definitely get Storm Nimbus because that imbues your weapons with lightning and with cold. Heart of Frost, see Heart of Frost synergy in it. That's good for slowing enemies down. Storm Surge, that's a good 1-point wonder, because it has a 15% chance to proc if enemies hit you, so that's quite frequent. Happens quite a lot. It stuns enemies as they're swarming around you. And I don't really go for the skills on the far right here, the Freezing Blast and the Energy Shield. They're quite weak and not very useful, so I usually ignore those. Now I'll just also mention this, if you want to go for an Eye Shard Prophet, these are just the modifications I would make. The Dream Tree still stays the same, but for Storm, if you see, I maxed out the Eye Shard tree, but I removed some points from Storm Nimbus. You could remove them from elsewhere, of course, but I thought this was the more fitting place. If you're gonna be concentrating more on the cold damage, you're probably concentrating less on the lightning and physical side of it. So, if you see, I removed the static charge skills and all but 1 point from the base skill of Storm Nimbus itself. And now just briefly discuss the attribute points. Since Prophet is sort of like in a way, it's like a hybrid, you would have to invest in strength, intelligence, and dexterity in all three of those. Although since you are going melee, since physical damage will be probably your main one, strength I'd say should get some slightly more. So by ratio, I'd say 2 points in strength, 1 intelligence, and 1 dexterity. However, you could also try to place more importance on the elemental aspect of it, and put more in intelligence. So you could go 1 strength, 2 in intelligence, 1 dexterity. That's a viable option as well. You can try that. And lastly, also, if you see that you are running out of energy quite fast, if a lot of your skills demand energy, then you should place some attribute points in energy as well. But I think since you got Storm and Dream isn't too bad either with this, you will be getting some energy points already with the masteries. Yeah, and that's about it for the Prophet. So I hope this is helpful. Bye then.